This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, folks. I'd like to call this meeting of September 5th to order, the time being 4:47. I'd like to welcome our new selectman, Eric Adams. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in our first official meeting with our new town administrator. What's your name?
I won't tell you, Madam Chair, what my wife calls me.
Scott Hilliard.
We all know.
All right, well, I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right,
Stuff out of your way.
we have a few minutes. We have August 1st. So they'll be in your tab right here.
Madam Chair?
I guess we have July 21st, 5th first.
Correct. We added that this afternoon.
Must have been corrections in it.
Well, no, this is the 16 pager or 14 pager. This is a long one.
Could have sworn I'd read it before.
We,
Oh, yeah.
several times.
Right.
Are there any, we tabled it and then we tabled it again,
Oh,
so.
that's what it was. Okay.
Anybody have any corrections or concerns or? Hearing none. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of, what's the date?
July 25th.
There you
July
go.
25th, yep.
Yep.
I hear a second.
Second.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
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 I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. One abstention. We'll pick up the minutes of August 1st. Any corrections or concerns on this one?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 1st as presented.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain.
One abstention. Minutes of August 14th. We did that. We already did
You
that
did the
one.
14th, yes.
Yep. 15th we're looking at.
Correct, Madam Chair.
There's just one correction in Paul Boudreau, it's BOU. I don't think we need to hold the minutes up for that. She can just correct it when she puts it in the BOUDREAU.
Yeah, and I think getting it right is important.
Yes, I agree.
I'll make a motion. We accept the minutes as corrected.
Chessman, second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'll abstain.
Okay, and one abstention. Okay. That's it for all our minutes. We're caught up.
Finally.
All right. Next on our list is looking at the two RFPs for Academy and for our two people that sent in. And that would be under for review. It's kind of halfway down in the pile here. One is from McFarland, the other one is from Turner Group. Everyone have a chance to read them? Look at the differences? I have one question. I don't understand what was the test that we had on the road prior to, wasn't that a geotechnical?
The sewer commission did a test to locate sewer pipe. And I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't the traditional put a camera down the line.
This one showed the gaps in the road. It would showed the heat, cold.
I think so. I don't remember. I had asked him about it. He was going to look into it.
John, you remember that report that we got?
Yeah, we had them do sort of like a ultrasound type thing of the road to see what they could have. It's things have changed a lot since then, so I don't know the real validity.
But that wasn't
of
a geotechnical kind of a term?
Hmm.
Okay. That's what I was concerned with. I didn't know if that was involved in that.
When was that done?
Well, they're all geotechnical. It just it depends on to what extent.
That was done
about 5 years ago.
about 4 or 5 years ago, I would say. But since then, we've had quite a bit of washout since then, particularly over the last year. Considerable washout.
And the big problem was trying to figure out what the integrity of the base of the road was underneath that, which is hard to tell because different soil types will read different and voids will read different, and where the water's actually flowing under the road and coming out.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. And
Yeah.
it was pretty much determined that it was not a very good road bed.
Yeah.
And what we thought was isolated to this area, it's more like this area.
Yeah, it's definitely a larger
Yeah.
portion.
The road is quite old, 1800s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from everything I've seen, it hasn't ever been really upgraded. It's been paved and milled and done that with. But as for we don't really know what the base of it is and all that. Yeah. So
Okay.
Do you have Turner's?
You have it?
couple things that were happening with the road. First, there's water that comes off the hill and goes underneath and comes out through those rocks. And then the other
Right.
thing is that when the road's pitched on that side, it was draining off and washed out behind the rocks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
It's
went over
gonna
and
be-
looked at it because, yeah,
runoff ran down.
yeah. Definitely needs work.
So if I'm reading this right, then T.L. Turner is supplying the engineer, am I right?
Say it again?
If I'm reading this correct, that T.L. Turner, H.L. Turner will take on the preliminary engineering, and in McFarland is saying the client is expected to furnish the engineer. See on page, right at the cover page, under project description number 2. We got to remember to talk into this because I'm fading in and out. I can hear it.
I believe, Madam Chair, what I read in those, not knowing the history, but I read the same thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
I
read
think
as well.
that's
That's the primary difference.
I think that's the major difference in the price. So we have a decision to make. Do we have it all one, pay the price, the engineer, and go out?
Do we know how much a different engineer would cost?
Well, we would have to then go out for scope of work
Yeah.
and get engineers and so on and so forth. But
And I feel like this is a reputable company, and they have an engineer. They have liability insurance. They'll have to post a bond or whatever. And if it goes wrong, it will be made good on, because what do you call it, geotechnical? It's like an ultrasound. I forget the name of it, but it's a radar thing. I
Right.
have it. I thought I had it in my book, but I don't. There are numerous voids in the road. And what does that mean? It doesn't necessarily mean caves, but it means it's not solid. It's maybe sand or, whatever it is. But back in the day, who knows what they filled that stuff in with?
Yeah.
Manure. No, probably not.
Well,
They spread the
question
manure on the
Byron said.
fields.
I think given the proximity of the abutter and what we have to do for a retaining wall and what needs to be engineered, I'd rather go with somebody that we know.
Me too.
Well, we don't have the money to go with either of these right now,
Right.
I don't know where this has come from.
quite frankly. So maybe we have time to look at the cost of hiring an engineer separately. But, I mean, the geotechnical, quite frankly, it doesn't matter how many voids there were, or how many voids there are now. What we need to know is why. We can assume it's water. I don't think it's earthquake, but what causes voids typically
It's
is
water.
water.
And it's
Mhm.
downhill.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what hopefully the geotechnical will tell us. What's interesting is one company is telling us, they're going to have final designs. But how are they going to get final designs? Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Mm-hmm.
something that I'm reading, and I apologize that I'm not up on all of this, but Tim and I did have a pretty lengthy discussion. My recollection of the discussion was that the prices were significantly different, as you can see, but the services were basically the same. And in reading the McFarland Johnson page quote sent to Tim dated August 2nd, it says the engineer proposes to render professional engineering services to the town of Tilton in connection with the following project. So I think there's some confusion there. Might I follow that up a little bit for the board? Would that be helpful?
Absolutely.
Only because in recalling my discussion with Tim, it wasn't apples and oranges, it was apples and watermelons, that drastic difference
Right.
in price. So,
Go ahead.
So I noticed on the McFarland one, under task H, under the bid phase services, it does give information that the engineer, being McFarland and Johnson, or McFarland Johnson, it lays out that they're gonna assist the town in bidding for an engineer, is what I'm seeing. So it seems like I would assume that that's probably one of the biggest differences, is their services in trying to help you identify. So it looks like they're going to help you set up the advertisement. And then they will also go through the bid process with you. And then they'll review also the bids that come in. My guess is that's pretty costly just in and of itself,
yeah.
because it does
engineering
take a
service.
process.
Not a free service.
Right. That was kind of the biggest difference I saw. That really kind of stood out the most to me. And when we say we know HL Turner Group, have we worked with them before?
In the town, yeah.
Okay.
We've had,
All right.
yeah. They've done a few things for us.
Okay.
This one, McFarland is confusing because S.W. Cole is an engineering firm.
Correct.
Yes.
So if we have to hire our own engineer, why are we paying them to have an engineer? I don't get it. Like Scott suggested, that he,
Check it out.
Yes, I will.
Everybody up for that? We'll look into it a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
and-
but I'd like to see a semi-expedited route on this, because
We got to find the money.
I know we do, and Tim's not here right now, so.
In next meeting, so if we kind of know where our money's coming or putting it in the budget and figuring out what we're going to do, and then you'll have that answer for that.
Yes. I will.
Sound like a plan?
Would this be something that we might have to be doing a warrant article for?
I believe that
It's
was the discussion.
Potentially,
Could
yeah.
be, potentially.
It's kind of tough because if it's voted down, but it's a safety issue, where do we go from there?
what if we don't fix the road and leave it dead end?
Well,
You'd still have to stabilize the
You have
wall,
to-
'cause
right.
if any more of it comes down, whatever that looks like,
it's a liability to the abutters.
there's a rock, a giant boulder.
I saw
that's like just a few inches from their
Yeah.
wall.
I saw
But
it.
it's not only that, because if any more of it comes towards School Street, you've got the Garcia barn coming down with it. So it's a safety issue.
But do we have any problems with that section of it, or is it just that wall?
It's the wall right now, but it's a contiguous
But
What
the,
is the wall under
structure.
that
no,
garage?
it,
What is the structure under the garage?
wait a minute, if the road continues to wear away, it's not just the wall that's deteriorating. It goes into the road a little bit too.
From traffic, yes.
Correct.
But you could remove the asphalt. You could fill it in, seal it and walk away.
So you're saying if there was a good retaining structure there, that the other part.
So that it wouldn't
We'll
keep
start with
going.
this and see where we
Right,
go.
so it wouldn't keep going up, further up. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to take the risk, but
Hopefully
I
that
hear
will
where you're
be
going.
part of the engineering. Because that would be a question. It's like,
Right.
how far does this go up Academy Street?
Well,
Exactly.
I think I would wonder too if there was an issue like a fire or something like that. And that my concern would be we put a fire truck on that road. Is that, and then other vehicles on that road, if there was a fire there, like would that cause something more damage to the road? I don't know.
And each week we have a garbage truck that goes up it.
Yeah.
And every
And backs
storm
it.
we have a wing plow that goes up it.
Yeah.
Sanders. And it does get,
Well, this will be the first winter since it's deteriorated more, so it'll
but yeah,
probably go up it now.
in the future.
Yeah, but the garbage truck kind of backs up a little bit. Backs up now because he can't go drive in through it.
How much of an issue do you think that would be, Catherine, to just make it a dead end?
I think people are used to it by now.
It's been a dead end for quite some time,
Yeah.
right?
They're used to it, so,
Yeah, okay.
but I'm sure there are those that would like it to be open.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quick, when you go up,
It was
take
the
a left
shortcut.
and you
Right,
access the light to get
That's
back on
right.
Route 3 instead of having to go all the way up the hill.
Me,
Yeah.
because I have to go up to Pillsbury now to go home. Yeah,
So, but that's just a convenience.
yeah, it's just a convenience. That's it. You make do. Right. All right, so we're gonna put that on hold for now. And Scott, you're gonna take care of that,
I
right?
will, Madam Chair.
Okay, thanks. All right, selectmen's reports. Joe, you're up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a budget meeting on the 18th. It'll be our first working meeting. Anybody, I think we have one or two openings still. So anybody out there who has an interest in how our money is spent, come on down. And on the 18th of September, also, the recycling center is supposed to open at 1 p.m. It's a Wednesday. And they're going to be in operation. I haven't been down recently to see what they've done, but they're feeling pretty good about it. And that's it for me.
Okay, Catherine.
Just a question for Scott.
Okay.
The knowing the territory, has it been updated in the recent years?
I thought the latest edition was 23.
2020?
23,
Oh, 23.
2023. I believe Selectman Adams has it. Is it on the front? Did you have the front cover too,
Right
Oh,
there.
yeah,
Eric?
Yep.
I believe it was updated in
24. It says.
24. Okay, sorry. Yes, it was.
I'd like one.
I'd like one,
Okay.
please.
All right. We'll get them to all of you.
Yeah, I should have one.
You have a new one?
No, I need one. I should
Okay,
have a new
okay.
one.
Yeah.
You might as
I like the
well.
hard copy better.
Yeah.
The electronic copy is hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice because it's updated with all the new
Yeah.
Yeah,
Statues.
laws, so
very informative.
can't mess up. That's all I have is that question. Thank you.
Yep, I will get it to all of you, Catherine. So,
Okay, John.
So one of the things I've been doing is working on the Philbrick Cemetery, and cleaning up the stones, assessing them. There are 2 stones that were lying on the ground that, because they're lying on the ground, it causes a lot of damage because the water pools on them, gets in the pores, and then they start cracking.
Yeah.
So those were, I have a little thing that you can put on it. It's an airbag, and it lifts them up carefully and put blocks underneath them and began to spray the stuff to clean them. One of the things that should be done is before winter, they should be in either a horizontal vertical method or standing up vertically so that water runs off them and not collecting the engraved names and all that on it, which freeze and break. They're not in all that bad shape, considering that they're 1840, 1850. And it looks at one time, the ones that broke were probably from a limb from a tree that fell and hit it. I always forget to use this too. So those 2 that were lying on the ground have cracks on them, and just began the process of cleaning those properly so that they, once they're all cleaned and that, they can be properly repaired. The one that has the taller one, I think you might have seen pictures of it. I put some pictures up. That one, the point broke off the top. It's pretty flat break on it, so it could be repaired without a lot of worry about it. If it was like this, then when you repair it, could slide off or do that. But going to do some more looking at, get some pictures of the top once everything's all cleaned on it. There's surrounding the cemetery, there is some like forsythia. There's also some other types of like hedge that were growing. And also in the wall itself, there are small trees that start growing up through the wall, which are displacing the rocks. I think it would be appropriate to cut back the forsythia in that. I cut anything that was encroaching into the cemetery. There's also briars in that, but cut those back to a standard size. We all know forsythia. Yeah, in 2 years it can go nuts. And it's easily, you can cut that back and it will, the next spring, it will actually look a lot better and do that. And then at some point, figure out some type of landscaping plan for around it. But the trees that are growing in the wall, which are up to about 2 inches, I think there's about 4 or 5 of them should just be removed so that they don't further displace the rocks. Some of the rocks could be reset, put back on the wall that fell off, which would help. I spoke to Ed Rocco, who stopped in here, who's the, I believe, general manager of the whole preserve or lakes.
The new project?
Yes, thanks. And he was very enthusiastic, and he offered that perhaps if we wanted, he talked about having the people who do his grounds maybe do the landscaping around the perimeter with some flowers or garden beds or something like that. And I explained to him, the reason why we told him not to go in there was not being a hard guy about it, but there's very strict rules with the 20-foot setback and that we did appreciate that he showed a big interest in. So I think the trees should be removed as soon as possible. While I'm up there, I can cut them out and just set them aside. I don't know if Shane, he's real busy, if he would want to cut back like the forsythia and the overgrown thorns, and just clear that out so it's neat. Then I'll continue with the cleaning. That should be done pretty soon. It's kind of a unique cemetery. Some of the graves are in front of the stones and some are behind the stones. So they,
Question.
yeah.
You were talking about making the fallen stones vertical. how do you know which way to face?
They all
Each side
face the
of the
same way. They
stone?
should face the east typically. And that was, there were a couple of, I forget the exact reasons. There were some Puritan, old time where they have to face the rising of the sun.
Rising of the east, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Okay, but
yeah,
do you have the stone and then the grave?
yes.
Or do you have the stone and then the grave?
So we have stones and footstones, but we
Mhm.
do
Oh,
know.
if we
Headstones
have
and
footstones,
footstones.
yeah.
And every grave in that row, every stone in that row, the printing was all facing towards 3 and 11.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So they would go in
Yeah.
there. So what I'm doing is I carefully remove dirt from around the stones and around the footing so we can recover the stones and see the footings and see how those look and do it. So it's a little bit time consuming, but it's getting better every day.
That one tone monument looks great, John.
It does.
It does.
I was shocked.
Like brand new, bright white.
And I can tell you, it's kind of like an enjoyable thing to do that. And then you start reading some of the history that you couldn't read down the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the families there. So that's going quite well. And I know you wanted me to get back to you on it. So the only thing was, it's okay to cut the trees down, then perhaps either I can do it or Shane can do cutting the brush back. The brush probably be better if Shane does it because he can haul it away. I have no way where to
Do
put it.
we need to have, a special person do the cement on the cracked ones? Or, because takes a special cement to do it depending on the stone.
So it's not a cement, it's a very special epoxy that's
Yeah,
used
epoxy, yeah.
that bonds to that. Now, I'm going to take a look and get some good pictures of it. It's not a difficult thing to do. The key thing is to use the right
The
stuff.
right stuff,
Right
right?
Is Kim a good resource for this? Because I know she's all about the older gravestones, and I don't know
Yeah.
what her expertise is, but
So
she's
I've-
been doing it a long
Yeah,
time.
no, I'll talk to her about it. I've been doing some studying on it and everything. for
She's
quite a
not
while,
in the
so-
cement area or repairing
Gravestone,
cracks and
no.
that kind of area, but she's very
Yeah.
knowledgeable about the history and all of that. But John would probably be a better resource on that one. But I was just curious if we needed to have, for stability, because you have to, from when I was with Kim sitting around doing nothing while she was doing the rubbings, you have to, in order to repair it, you have to keep it vertical
So,
in that space.
yeah, so typically anything like that, what you would do is first you have to make sure it's level and plumb. Because you want to balance properly, not leaning in any way because it's only going to get worse. And then from there it has to be cleaned properly, and also you get the right epoxy for it. And then you put some braces like a
Yeah, it
cast
has
on
to
it,
be
and
braces, right?
and then it cures, and then
Are there
It's a
bases?
process.
Can you find any of the bases?
bases are there. I didn't dig them
So you
up.
can cement them to the
The
bases
base would have to
eventually.
be leveled,
Yeah,
and you can jack those up, and they fill them with sand, coarser sand underneath so it doesn't wash out, and make those perfectly level. And
big jaw.
you just don't do it too quick,
Right,
You don't
I get it.
jump in there.
If you want a hand, I have a truck and a trailer. If we don't want to have bother with Shane because I know he's busy with other stuff. Want to do it? I'll come up and I'll help you.
Awesome,
And we can get that, at least those trees cleaned out. We can throw them on my trailer,
yeah.
and then, I mean,
They bring them to the dump. They have a shredder.
yeah.
The dump. Yeah, no, he calls them dump.
I'm just,
We still.
every time I'm
New
sorry, I'm
Englander, right?
remembering
The dump.
Dennis Allen and he
Yeah.
hated it that I called it the dump.
The dump. So that's where that's at. So it's nothing more than cleaning's going to happen now, and then from there, I'll get a full report exactly how it would be done, but something before so they're not spending another winter lying under dirt.
Thank you for
That's
doing
what
all
we're
that.
good.
Years
The-
ago, I looked into it and contacted, I can't even tell you how many different places in 4 different states and I couldn't find anyone to come up and do what you're doing. I got a
So-
lot of information sent to me, but I couldn't find a human being that would do it.
So this would be, I think it's year 12 since I started cleaning the statues and that in town. So,
Hmm.
and it's very rewarding. And it's, it's doing it. And I just hope that someday somebody will do mine. Or unless I get thrown in the dumpster.
I will.
There you go. There you go.
Madam Chair, I don't know if you
Optimist.
noticed Kathy Mitchell, it appears is.
Raising her hand?
Yes, I believe it's kind of blurry here, so.
From this one,
Kathy, are you just listening or are you raising your hand?
she can chime in. If you want.
No, I think she's just listening. Go ahead.
So going, the next thing, I know, and I'm going to bring up High Street again, at the meeting when we made the decision, Catherine, you said, let's not let this fall behind, let's stay on this. Haven't heard anything back. I don't know if anybody, whether the Park Commission wants to take it over. I know the Conservation Commission did not, and we should look at either we're going to do a warrant article to keep it or proceed with selling it or whatever. I did do a bunch of research. I could not find anywhere we promised to save it aside. I went through years of minutes and videos and discussions on it. And the last thing that I could find is that they were going to get back to us and there was going to be discussion on it. There was also the two neighbors discussed that possibly they could split that lot down the middle and one person could buy, split what's owed on it or something. And this is what they said at their last meeting. And one a butter could buy half and the other could buy the other and expand their lot and do it. So that's one of the other options. But we should consider whether we're going to do a warrant article on it or whatever, but proceed to have a final disposition of that once and for all, and not just sit on it as we stated that we would. Stay on it.
We'll keep it on the agenda as unfinished business.
Okay.
I think I asked you a couple weeks ago, I don't know whether it was Catherine or John that asked for all town owned property to be listed.
Yes.
Are we working on that?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in his report.
Yeah.
Follow up on
Exactly.
town-owned properties.
Okay.
And if you'll include that one.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I think there was specific information that Joe asked for, as well as John, on that High Street property,
Right.
High Street extension.
And the next thing is, I think we had some other property that vehicles and that we've, if we've disposed of all the vehicles, we had zero turn mower and all those, where are they at?
I think Tim has put those on muni bid. There's a couple of vehicles in the senior bus. They're on muni bid.
In the zero turn mower?
I believe that's on there too.
I think that's
Madam
on
Chair.
there too. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we
Yep.
can put a link on our website to it so that people in town want to
Good idea.
Yeah.
do that. Everything else is that I know of.
Municipid. I'm sorry. Municipid.
Municipal.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing was, okay, of course, we got the light at Sherwood Drive and at the crosswalk by the car dealer and the bank there by Walmart. That we need to still get that replaced. And then the light out here. That's it.
I thought Tim said that that's on schedule for this month for the one out here.
The one out
Yeah.
here is like soon.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the other one, I think they didn't know, couldn't identify it.
They couldn't identify it.
Yeah.
So I think if you're up in that area, look on the
I
poll
tried,
number.
but you can't park anywhere around there.
Oh,
I'm gonna have
Oh,
to
yeah.
I'll walk over something.
Just get the-
You're within walking distance,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
if
Take a
you
hike,
get
take a
the
picture.
poll number, something over something, and then if you get that, then they can
Yeah,
identify
and
it.
that's a crucial one because it is a crosswalk
Yep.
where people, I think, killed
Correct,
All is killed there.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's correct.
other side, yeah.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you. Eric, I know you're new, but do you have anything to add or questions or anything?
No, not right now. Just happy to be here.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, happy to have you.
He said that. Happy to be here.
That's right.
Right, make that, put that in
Day
the
one,
minutes.
still happy.
It's recorded.
It's
Strike that
recorded,
from the
just
record.
remember that, it's recorded.
Give him till
Let the
January.
record show.
Okay, first thing on the list, I promised that I would bring it up, is the postage machine that Tim has asked us. And I believe it's in here, correct?
Correct. It is in your,
So the postage machine, they're doing away with it. The lease, it is ending on us very suddenly. I mean, you all read what he had to say. So for the public, this is what's happening. It's coming on us very soon at the end of the month. And we will be without a machine unless we make a motion to enter into a new lease. And judging from my list of things on my agenda for planning and zoning, I'm hoping that we have a postage machine downstairs. And I'm sure the tax collector would like that as well.
I think it's comical that it's, what am I saying, 32 cents cheaper?
yes.
3 cents cheaper, I think, isn't it?
8 cents
8
less
32?
per quarter.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Say
yeah.
32 cents per year cheaper. Guess it could have gone the other way. He has a motion here. I move that we authorize the finance director to execute the necessary paperwork to acquire a replacement Pitney Bowes certified Sen Pro C Auto 95 sheet. Wow. On a 63-month lease term at a cost not to exceed $125.30 per month, which is less than the existing lease cost.
Chessman second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, I came upon this a couple of weeks in a row, and I thought I'd bring it up because this last 2 days, I've driven up High Street at the stop sign at the corner of High and Chestnut. When the stop sign is very, very faded, very faded. And with the bright, bright sun, you can hardly see that it says stop on it. When you're coming up the hill
Wow.
and going towards School Street, Prospect Street, I mean, you can hardly
Oh, yeah.
see it the last couple of days. You can't
I've noticed
really
that.
read that it says stop. So I think it's time that we just change that or repaint it or something,
Replace it.
replace it.
And they probably have a stop sign or two.
Yeah, I
down
think
at
so,
Public
but
Works.
And I got to tell you, Shane has done an amazing job cutting down the brush by the big pillars. Amazing, because you can
Haven't
see,
been over there because you couldn't see the
Oh.
sign at all.
Yeah, you could-
well, you can see not only the sign, but on the left-hand side where the big pillars are, you can see before you get to Chestnut Street if cars are coming. And then when you approach
Nice.
the stop sign. So well done, very well done.
And Pat, if I can add,
Yep,
excellent job on Morrison Ave pulling out there. It's a lot safer now.
yeah. Oh, good, good, good. I haven't been over there, but that's great. So kudos to you, Shane. All right, and coming up, and I'm going to mention this because we have Amnesty Week coming up October. I know it comes upon us and then we say, oh, I didn't prepare for this. I wish I had known. So October 9th through 11th on
Columbus Day weekend?
Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Well, that's what it says. Fall cleanup, October 9th to 11, 9 to 3:30 p.m. Saturday, October 12th, 8:30 to 4. That's what it says on the website. So I've been caught many times thinking, oh, it's right around the corner, and then it's here and I don't prepare for it. So then I just throw stuff in my trailer and bring it over last minute, and then I forget what I really wanted to
Forget
bring.
half the stuff.
Right.
That's what happens to me.
That's exactly what happens to me. So I'm mentioning it now, October 9th to the 12th. And also Halloween is coming up, and I didn't realize that upstairs is Halloween enthusiasts, so they want to have a team group up here with staff at town hall, so be prepared, town administrator. They're going to come after you for dressing up for Halloween. They would-
Already have. I have my costume on
Right.
now.
They would like me to approach the board to approve of a small amount of candy, so Johanna can sit out front and give candy out.
So you're telling me that they want to dip into our candy budget now?
No, this is separate from our candy budget.
Oh.
No,
All right.
this is a joke.
Oh, okay.
I would say
Nobody
yes.
touches my candy budget.
Oh, great.
Oh, now we draw the line here. No, we can
I'm
dip
good
into the
with that,
candy budget.
sure.
I think there's plenty in the candy budget. As a matter of fact, I looked
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
So if we can do that, we could separate from candy, share it with the Christmas parade that's coming up.
I also want to remind that the board promised to do a Halloween display for the Halloween contest.
Oh,
Mhm.
The park
somebody,
commissioners, remember?
they're
Was
all
I
over it.
off
They're
that
Oh,
hoping
yeah, I
that
did see that.
Catherine, they're already doing it. They're already on it.
we're outside.
Oh, yeah. They're already scheming it.
Nice.
Johanna that's a Halloween is her, I ain't saying nothing, but
Oh, yeah.
Halloween is her holiday.
All I had to do was say, I think they want to do there's a contest Halloween, and boom, it was right over. I'm telling you, it's,
Is she gonna do the zombie walk
No,
thing? That
I-
was pretty
No.
popular.
no,
That
that's
was-
not doing that. She wants to give out candy.
That
Yeah,
was popular.
That was awesome.
One of those
Mhm.
posters, yeah.
But I ended at the park.
So,
And that was
um,
all Johanna.
yep, that was it. And so, also, if I could, I would like to switch hats for a minute, and go to the podium. I'll pass this out to you because I only have one copy because I wasn't going to waste the money on color copy.
So which hat is it? Resident, land use,
Land use technician. here.
chairman, selectman,
I mean, a land use coordinator now, okay?
dog, keeper of dogs?
I'm not the dog keeper in my
Rescue.
house. Thank you. All right, so this letter was given to me yesterday as an appeal, and because Lauren is on vacation, please consider my memo to you as an official notification to bring before the Board of Selectmen, AKA the municipal assessing officials, as outlined in the procedure for municipality land use change tax bill. So basically what it says, any person aggrieved by the assessment of a land use change tax may, within 2 months of the notice of date, not afterwards apply in writing to the municipal assessing officials for an abatement for the land use change tax pursuant to RSA 79A:10. If the municipal assessing officials neglect or refuse to abate the land use change tax, any person aggrieved may appeal within 8 months of the notice of a tax date and not after to either Board of Tax and Land Appeals or Superior Court in accordance with RSA 79A:10 or RSA 79A:11. So during the assessment, I was given the task of learning how to file a land use change tax bill, which then goes to the tax, which then goes to the Board of Selectmen that signs it. It's given to me by the assessors, and then the board signs it, and then the tax collector then sends the bill out. The land use change tax bill comes to you because somehow or other they've changed their current use, and what they actually have, they're using it in a different way and no longer perceived as current use, or a tiny portion of thereof, which then becomes the market value of that portion of the land. And in this case, the market value was $6,700, which 10% of that penalty becomes $670. So we sent out, based on information from the assessor, an aerial photo. The assessors took an aerial photo of the land and felt that it was a significant change to make that claim. The gentleman in question talked with me. I sent the information that the assessor gave me, then contacted the assessor, and the assessor stood by the claim. So I sent the aerial photo to the gentleman, and he then sent me back an aerial photo that was taken April 12th, 1998, which looks almost identical. So with that information, he came in and said, what has changed? There's nothing, there's no additional land that has been changed. And on the assessor's note to us, it says this 56.4 acres improved parcel was notably larger in current use, with 0.4 acres assessed not in current use. It was evident that the area noted was not sufficient for the area noted to be improved, as well as the curtilage, which is the yard area, currently being mowed by the taxpayer. So the records have been updated to reflect the 1.3 areas disturbed as substantiated by aerial imagery. As such, the additional 0.94 acres is subject to the land use change tax. And then it goes into the calculations of the amount of the tax. So now I will put my other hat on and I'll pass this around. So you can significantly see that the first photo is the 1998 photo, and then you can see the other one is that. So
I've got this straight in my head. The assessor says that this is the tax on that property, and they have a reason for that.
the assessor says that he's using part of what he claims is in current use. And therefore, this is the amount we feel he's using. Therefore, he has to pay the penalty for that tax,
And how is he using it?
mowing his lawn.
It
I
seems
mow.
sketchy.
I mow sections of my hayfield because I have weeds that grow in it, such as milkweeds. before it seeds, I go out with my lawnmower and so I'll have significant patches where I've mowed these down because I don't want them to reseed. They're not harmful, but it's not good feed for what I'm feeding. So, that's just good hay maintenance.
That's, yeah.
One year my granddaughter got a little exuberant and my front lawn grew. Well, for me, it was, probably 5 hay bales, as I explained to her. At the time, that was like $40. I said, excuse me. So I'm sorry, I can't agree. And I believe that's the one I refused to sign. There are reasons for mowing. I mean, and even if as a homeowner, you just forget and you go, oh, you're mowing your lawn and
Yeah.
you mow a bigger lawn than normal.
Unless he's building things on it
Yeah.
and has structures in place, cutting the grass it doesn't seem like a change of use to me.
Well, it can be
Somehow.
very healthy. You have to cut your hay fields.
Yeah, that's true.
So have similar situations like this come up in the past?
Not in
It's
my
a first for
experience.
me.
Yeah.
We have very little to do with people with land use change tax unless they have a subdivision or
Sign the
they
paperwork.
resell it or something like that, and then it's very large. This year we have 2.
Mhm.
One that's a lot more acreage that was done, and another bill was sent out. And this one, which is a tiny little piece, but this person professionally has another farmer do the haying because he's no longer able to do it. But he's the one that is coming back to appeal it. So
Cutting down grass in a hayfield is not against the rules.
Well, it's almost normal maintenance. Like
Well,
I said, if you go past mine,
the hayfield is not, the hayfield is not in his current use. That's always been his hayfield.
Yeah.
But what they're saying, they're saying is it's beyond that.
It's beyond the.
So I don't know, and I'm not
Mowing
going
more
to
lawn.
speculate it.
I am hesitant to not back the professional assessor that we pay an arm and a leg for. They know more about this than I do. It doesn't sound right to me, though. So what's that person to do?
like I said, you drive by my well, if you fly over my hayfield, you'll see a patchwork where I've mowed down milkweed.
Well, that's yeah. I think the map from 94 against the map of 2024 they're not really a good depiction of each other. I don't think. Like,
Okay.
It's like,
yeah,
the only thing that's different is it's a little bit more mowed right there.
yeah,
That would be right
that would be
there,
right there. Yeah,
Across the street.
across the street.
yeah.
Are you saying it's across the street, John, or it's before the house?
Well, I don't think
Hard
that,
saying without knowing.
I think we need to find out from our assessor a little more on this.
Right. So there's the pond.
I can't, I had land in current use with apple trees on it.
Yeah.
I'd
So
mow that.
this,
And
would be
even
this.
trimmed apple trees on it.
and that's one.
And cut trees, manage forests on it.
Well, you're supposed to keep the weeds under control under your
Trees.
fruiting trees.
What part of that?
Our assessor is back from vacation next week, so.
Yeah.
17th, Madam Chair.
Oh, 17th.
Yeah.
When is the
part of the
expiration
story
on
we
its
don't
ability
know.
to appeal? 2 months?
Yeah, we got time.
I'd like to have the assessor pull that up and say what is specific.
We
Because you
could
have
do
it
that.
highlighted on the first
Yeah.
one if you look.
We can, yeah.
I'm sure she's got some kind of justification. I'd like to hear what it is, though.
I agree, Joe.
Ah.
Oh.
That's
didn't
the
hear that,
signature.
I did.
That's a significant difference.
That's a disputed property.
Those are round hay bales.
Yeah,
Oh.
stored on that property.
That's the problem. Cows can't get a square meal.
That was
Round-
terrible.
They're operating a marshmallow
That-
farm.
That was
I mean,
good.
That's what you do with round hay bales.
Yeah.
Not like you're gonna stack them in a barn.
Yeah.
This is the problem?
No, I don't.
I don't think that. I think
I don't-
there's a significant difference supposedly in
Oh,
I didn't
that
look at
first,
okay.
in the first photo. If you look at on the second page,
So he's saying there's a significant
that's the
difference in the
94
first
that he
than the second.
submitted.
Correct.
And then the next one is the one from the assessor. And that's the Shears photo.
So he's saying there's no significant difference.
Yeah. So,
I still have to bring it to the board, so.
Doesn't line up.
yeah, well, that's the other thing too, is yeah.
30 years different. How does this line up, John?
So if you go
The best way to do it, I think, Joe, is to
like that,
take
Oh,
the
okay.
staple off of it,
there's
and
the road.
that's how
Yeah.
we want to do it. But
Yeah.
could we get the assessor
Yeah,
when she comes
really
back from
hard
vacation?
to
Is that going to
say.
be an issue if we wait that long?
No,
I don't
Okay.
see.
no,
I
we have
can't
2
see
months,
it. How does it?
but I
how
still
does
have to bring it to the
differ?
board.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it even pertains.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
What
Right.
happened, what is that, 98
For
compared to
30
now?
years, or 94, I think.
Surprising.
Land changes in 30 years by itself
Hmm.
without human
Yeah.
intervention.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Good
my
to know.
thought is
Yeah.
I'd want the assessor to lay it out and
I think it's a
explain.
good idea to have the assessor come
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have
What's
the conversation.
Do you,
missing
uh,
there?
do you want her here or do you want her just to write an explanation?
If she comes, it'll cost us money.
Yeah.
If she
Okay.
writes us an explanation, it'll cost us less.
I like that.
All right.
And we'll get the same information.
Right. I agree. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it for me. Town administrators report?
Yeah, Madam Chair, might I ask before I begin my report that the board take a vote to unseal the minutes of the 829 non-public meeting in the appointment of then now Selectman Adams. We need this for our finance director for banking purposes and future TAN, tax anticipation note requests and that stuff. There was nothing in there but it was just because it was in non-public.
Mhm.
So,
Make a motion that we unseal the minutes pertinent to the appointment of the selectmen on
August 29th. Madam
August
Chair.
29th.
Jessamine second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
There's nothing in those minutes that's controversy to any of the applicants?
And no, there was not.
Okay.
It's just the motion that he needs.
Oh, you just need the motion?
Right, to unseal. Right.
Okay. I'm trying to remember, what did we say?
We talked about the candidates
I
and what
think it
we're
was-
looking for.
Yeah, I'm
and-
trying to think, it was all very nice, but
It was a very good discussion.
But he's just looking for the motion so that he can put his name in for the TAN.
okay, good.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion's been seconded, made and seconded. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Chair, just as a point of order, I will make sure that Shane gets the stop sign changed at High and Chestnut Street so that it's visible. So, or better, or more visible, I should say. And you all have my report, so I won't take time because I know we're getting on in time here to go over unless you have any questions involving my report. But as my mother would tell me when I was a kid, get educated quickly. That's what I'm working on. We have a lot going on in town. I was able to meet with the chief And today as a project, I met with, Tim and I met with Shane and DOT officials at the highway garage regarding the crosswalk signs that we've purchased with ARPA money. A little disheartening was the fact that the signs themselves do not meet, excuse me, I'm trying to dodge the sun there, do not meet state DOT requirements for placement downtown. It's a two-part project, actually. A couple of the signs with slight alterations on the signs themselves can be used at Park Cemetery crosswalk and the New Franklin Apartments crosswalk. The downtown signs, which I know were the board's even bigger wish, as they would be with me, are a little more complicated. Ultimately, they will have to be, I'm going to try to explain it so that our listeners might understand too, but the sign itself is a certain height. It's solar, there's a solar panel on top. We met with the district engineer and the, thank you, and the assistant district engineer today. We spent about an hour talking about them. One good thing is we got a good deal on them, we were told by the district engineer, but the state DOT mandate is that each one of these signs which have LED lights in them, the current ones that we purchased have a big pedestrian, picture of a pedestrian on them, and around the edges of it are LED lights that blink. Something like if you go up Summer Street in Northfield, similar to theirs. However, the that is not DOT compliant, state DOT compliant. The visible pedestrian person has to have an arrow with a person that points down, and then Director Dow is here. He can probably explain as well too, but there has to be two lights, LED yellow blinking lights above that. That is the spec that the state has designed. And if you don't meet their spec, when you place those, technically, in the event something happens, God forbid, it would put us in a libelous situation because it doesn't meet the spec.
My understanding was that if we installed them downtown, the DOT would remove them. Is
Correct,
that correct?
correct.
So aside from anything else, they just take them out.
Right, right,
That make no difference what we want.
right.
Can we return them?
I will let Director Dow answer that. I think we may have an answer here. Again, I think that we can use a couple of them, at least this year, with some minor changes, what I think will be reasonably cost effective, and I'll give the board those numbers exactly. But more concerning to me was, and Shane is here, so Shane can chime in, I'm sure, if you'd like to, but more concerning to me and Tim were that if they're placed downtown where we really would like them, first off, Tilton House of Pizza is out of the question. That'll never meet their spec or standard, state standard. However, the design and placement, and Shane, correct me if I'm wrong on this, the design and placement must be 20 feet from the nearest parking space. This would mean that if we put a stanchion up and a light pole, that we're probably going to lose for every one of those stanchions, and there has to be two, one across from each other, we're going to lose 2 parking spots on each side of the road. So that would be 4 parking spots that we would lose. If we did downtown with the additional 4, that would be a total of 8 parking spaces. And Shane is shaking his head yes, so I think I'm on course here. So as soon as I heard that, I didn't think that that was good news. But we did manage to get, and unfortunately haven't had the time to follow up yet. We did get some information on a signaling company that has been used and is state recommended or state sanctioned, I should say, on the proper placement and installation of these lights that Tim and I felt it would be advantageous to at least get them to come look and talk to them and maybe entertain some kind of meeting with either one, some different ideas, or two, if there's a way of installing our current lights that we've already purchased, our current lights in these situations without losing the parking spaces.
If we don't have them blinking, would that comply with the thing?
It would not. It would not.
Go ahead, John.
So we went through this 8 years ago when the state decided to put in, I think we perhaps was just maybe referred to them as pimple plates. That
Right.
they removed all of our curbings and they put those slanted
Yep.
things in because we were talking about how you pour the cement,
Correct.
Right.
all that. And one of the things the state said was, in order to have those other spots in, that we would have to remove those spots in the 8 or 6 or 8 spots. And we went through all that.
Right.
And we tried everything we could. And
Right.
it was a no-go with the state. They would not go and do that, but they were pre-existing crosswalks. So
Right.
I think you were part of that.
The state has always hated the fact, they hate our parking, the diagonal especially.
Mm-hmm.
They do not like the proximity of the spaces to our crosswalks. They don't like some of the locations of our crosswalks, but we would lose so many spaces. If we complied with them 100%, we would lose a lot of parking
Yeah.
spaces.
And we
Yeah.
can't afford that.
Yeah,
Right.
we
Right.
can't afford that.
So
As it is.
Just so Eric knows that T-Hop is not a sanctioned state crosswalk.
Yes, I did.
We just painted the road.
right.
At least keep them funneled.
It's been there, so we left it.
It's
Yeah.
been there 40 years. It's been, Tilton School has used that 40 years.
yeah.
You know, so
Yep.
it's,
So the long and the short of it, Tim and I had a pretty candid discussion afterwards. We thought it would be advantageous to the board and the citizens to at least use 2 of these. Let us get a price on meeting state DOT compliance. It would give Shane and his crew an opportunity because we would have to get an excavating permit as well. When you dig the base out, you have to have an excavating permit. But the district engineer is going to send us all of the criteria. I did check Jeannie's file and maybe in there. I didn't get a chance to go through all of it, but I asked for the newest criteria for the installation on state roads to meet those specific standards. So we've got a total of 8 of them. Eventually, when we do something at the crosswalk for the island bridge, when that's done, that might be a possibility that we could put one there as well. And we can use them in their current condition as they are on any town roads. So we kind of left it to Shane if there's something on a town road that is really necessary, we won't at least lose the investment of the,
We can't return them.
can't return them, no. No, they were specially built for us.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah,
So,
yeah. They were bought with ARPA funds, so
so there is an opportunity that we could use them
like
on a
Northfield
regular
does.
ta-
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
on a
yeah,
regular.
very
town.
similar.
Okay. So we have places that we could put them. I mean,
So-
most definitely.
But the two locations you said are on Route 3,
They are on Route 3.
but they're off Main Street away from parking spaces.
We won't have to adjust any parking spaces, but
Okay,
we will have to make the adjustments on the
Okay.
sign.
What
So,
kind of adjustments on the sign?
the lighting.
yeah, the lighting, the LED lighting, and we'll have to add correct me if I'm wrong, Shane, we'll have to add a push walk button on both sides. Currently, our signs only came through with one sign on one side. It has to be on both. So,
That's odd.
and we can do something by adjusting it directionally, meaning the pole. However, we will still have to make the LED light change. So
Hmm.
I think Tim and I thought it would be a good idea for the board, because this is very important to our citizens and the board, is to get one of these signaling companies. They've got to have run into this before.
Well-
There's got to be some kind of alternative, you know?
Can we see if we can sell them to another town that can use them?
We could put them on municipal.
And then we can use that money to buy sanctioned ones?
Yep.
Which
We
is
could-
what the purpose was?
Yeah, but you're still not going to be able to put them on Main Street unless you're
Right.
willing to sacrifice.
6 or
parking
8 parking
spaces.
spaces.
That's the real downfall, is the sacrifice. The engineer said, I asked the question, and the engineer couldn't tell us a way about it. Shane knows the width and measurement. I mean, obviously, if you put it in the middle of the walkway, the sidewalk itself, it might be farther enough from the parking space, but then you're going to obscure the foot traffic.
So we could put two of them at the end of, yep, my brain just died. Intersection of Park Street and Route 3, our side. Prospect. That's our road.
Across Prospect Street.
As they cross from east to west or west to east, we could put two of them
Okay.
there.
Yes, yeah, that's the new state light. So I believe that already has one, Catherine.
Yeah, but they don't have the flashing.
Oh,
Well, or they could be used, aren't there crosswalks in School Street for those students at the prep school?
we
Yeah.
talked about that too.
That's a state
Probably
road.
State
not,
road.
but
That's a
That's a
state
state
But
road.
there's no
There-
parking
There
spaces.
is no parking area up there.
Right.
Academy Street?
Right up
Pretty
the
long.
street.
Academy Street's pretty long. The end of Academy and Chestnut,
Mm-hmm.
a long span of kids thinking that area.
It is a long one, yeah.
As long as they're on town property, I don't think that would be a. We'll have, just so the board knows, I asked them, just send us all of the requirements, what the specs are, how much, because Shane and his staff had some questions about, the size of digging. Obviously, you got to get an excavating permit. You got to get a permit, what's called I don't think it's a PBN, but a permit for installation, a permit for excavation. So is that pretty accurate, Shane? Yeah.
Do we have a list of where all the crosswalks are in town? Like what streets they're on and
I believe that we do.
I was
So-
just curious.
It's a shame we didn't have this conversation
So,
prior to
it-
purchasing these. I
Exactly what the engineer said.
I'm surprised they did.
Exactly.
thought they did, but that I just assumed.
Yeah.
I voted no on it.
Smart man.
Wish I did.
I think that's a good idea to have a list of our possible locations. I think where students cross would be a great idea.
Absolutely.
So-
Winter Street, well,
Go ahead, John.
we can put them on the Winter Street side.
One of the things, did we contact the manufacturer, said, hey, you guys sold us something we can't even use. Can we return these to you for exchange? That's something you have that we can use. Because I would think that if I had a business and I'm selling these to everybody, that the word gets out, you're selling something that nobody can use. It's kind of like a scam.
Yeah. Well, my understanding is, according to the district engineer, these were designed or the company is in North Carolina, but down there they used this specific sign. So it's particular, I think,
Oh.
John, to each state how they do it. But if there's no reason we can't call and say, hey, listen.
Maybe on their website or the brochure, it says compliant,
Right.
that
Right.
they all comply to all state laws or something, say, and call them out on it.
Yeah. My understanding, it was custom built just for us.
Special orders.
Yeah,
are
special
hard to
order.
return.
Wait, hold on a second. That's even more scary because if it's custom built for New Hampshire, they should at least know the rules in New Hampshire.
Absolutely.
Chief.
Just a suggestion, since we have, what do we have, 8? Yep. So whatever roads we figure out, and if there's any left, see if we can put them on municipal, try to recoup some money and use that money to put some lighting downtown. Like I said, the lighting is a huge thing for Main Street.
Mhm.
Even when we have the rope lights that go around Christmas on the trees, we set the trees down there, just that little bit of light lets you can see when people are coming through, walking through the cars, getting to the crosswalks. So like across from Tettle, those
Yeah.
lights there, I mean, it'll just brighten the downtown. So any money that we can recoup, we might use that.
Madam
Yeah, go
Chair,
ahead.
that's a good point because the engineer told us
Mhm.
today, he said specifically this crosswalk right here in front of 1231 Catering.
Yeah.
He says that's a dark area. He said we wouldn't even allow you to put one there if it met state standards without lighting that better.
And
That-
in front of nickel and dimes.
Yeah.
It's very dark. You cannot see anybody
Yeah.
after 6:30 PM
Yeah.
coming across. You can't see them.
So we did talk about,
Mhm.
and we've been talking about quite, maybe a couple of years now, about putting those lamp posts in. That would do that. And we already have wiring there. I don't know the condition, might have to be ones
Dug up.
straightened out. Well, they're in there. The boxes are in there. They're buried underneath and
Yeah.
Are they
sealed up.
LED lights?
We're buying some lamp posts. That's what we had planned to go all the way down. That would, give off.
Main Street is LED though. All the towns
That's
did
what I-
convert to LED.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what I
the straight
thought. Yeah.
lights, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're turned all the way up from what I know. We can adjust those.
Adjust them,
We can
right.
adjust.
Tim
them. I
can
think
do
we've
that.
already said that to jack them up downtown because we went around and did the poles. I think those are maxed out and we're still dark. I mean, it's.
So we put those lamp posts in like we had planned. That would light up the sidewalk area a lot as opposed to, from above.
Correct.
That would help brighten the whole downtown some.
Did you raise and
Okay.
appropriate money for that?
No, we hadn't, we were going to,
Right.
but we were going to see where the ARPA money was.
Because it's not on the
No,
opera.
we did ARPA money for the one along the river, those same lamp posts, and that's what
Correct.
we were going to do. That was like 50 some odd thousand.
How many lamp posts do you think you would need for?
We did
I think it was
don't know.
10.
And you did
Yeah.
account for them?
I think it was 10.
They're pretty much where the
Those are big. Those are
opening.
big lights down there. I mean, I don't think you want that big downtown.
Mm.
Something
They're
that
pretty bright.
They're bright, but mass wise, I think that would just be a little over.
Yeah.
Downtown, but.
The lamp post that you're talking about, though, the smaller one, right?
They're
So that-
the same I think we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Okay.
A lamp post. I don't think we.
I don't
we
think
want
we
to have
looked
them
at the
all sort of look
design,
alike,
right?
but We never,
Looked at size.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be like the same
style.
style, but we didn't look
Yeah.
at the size.
My understanding, Madam Chair, is that only on the north side of Main Street is the electrical
Yes,
stubbed in.
that's correct.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
Mm.
And it's only where the cutouts are.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Little dog parks.
Yes. However, we have bags. Come on, Joe. All right. So I think that's
Right in front
kind of
park
where
that
we're at
doesn't
there.
allow
Okay.
dogs.
Let's continue.
We will. And I received a BTLA appeal for 2023 assessment today, and I discussed it with the chair, and I have fired off all the facts off to Lauren, our assessor. So when she comes back, she'll have to provide the information for the appeal. So we'll have to be represented by them at the appeal, the BTLA, and it's a matter of, again, the assessment, the amount of the assessment. So
Do
some
you-
people knew it was coming. I didn't know. So
Oh, he called me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Do you want just to Lauren to take it away to the BTLA, or do you want to be prepared? And because the person that we usually represented with Lauren, our lawyer representative with Lauren, we don't use anymore. Do you want to get ahead of the game and be prepared to let her know who we choose?
I guess if we're gonna have to lawyer up, I mean, doesn't she need to look at it
Mm-hmm.
and determine whether or not their request is justified?
Mm-hmm.
So it
Yes.
may not end up at,
Might not.
We don't need to pay a lawyer if we don't need to pay a lawyer. Much as I love lawyers.
She's only here once a month, though. I just
Right.
want you to know that. She's here on the 17th and then come back in October. So
Right.
if she needs to figure out,
well, first she needs to advise us as to which direction we go.
mhm.
If a mistake was made or, if they overlooked something, blah, 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 before it goes to Bureau of Land and Tax Appeals.
Okay, we'll wait.
But we can certainly be thinking about attorneys, Joe's favorite subject.
Yeah, I've been thinking about attorneys. Not good things, but I've been thinking about
I
it.
just think we should be thinking,
Maybe,
not asking you to pick one.
maybe at our
It's not
next
thoughtful
meeting,
thinking.
some recommendations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Choose from.
And I believe, Madam Chair, if you might give me a second, I'll look at my notes. I believe we've covered everything.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. One last thing. In your binders, I did send out a letter for your next meeting on 8/19, which we'll hold at the police station meeting room. Only because we did send out to each individual Caleb Hill Road resident or abutter a notice so we could discuss the Caleb Hill Road project in depth. I'm sure the board knows, and we will bring Selectman Adams up to speed on, as I'm getting up to speed on what is involved in that. It's Tim and I had a discussion with Brian from McFarland Johnson specifically, and they will lay out to the board exactly what's going to transpire. Sections of that road will be reclaimed. Other sections will be redone completely. Drainage is going to be done in some areas and not other areas. So you'll get a purview of that. I would plan for, I might suggest you would plan for being a little bit lengthy. So
And we
Yeah.
have not accepted the project yet.
have not.
Right.
This will be to inform you of where, if we accept it, where we're going to go from here. Obviously, if we accept it, we're going to be responsible for everything in the future. But my interpretation of the conference call with Tim and I was that there were some sections that are worse than others. And, you know, we suggested, or Tim basically suggested, that Brian prepare for the board, which was supposed to come tomorrow, all of the talking points so you folks could see them before the meeting. And he was finishing them as we were speaking yesterday on the phone, which explained exactly what would be done within the 3.2 million and what anticipating 10 or 20 years out, what would we be anticipating for sections of the road for a cost that we can either start building in to a capital improvements project or setting monies aside annually for upkeep of that road once we accept it.
Okay.
You ready for that one, Shane? Yeah, as soon as you said reclaim reverses milling and all that, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
we gotta be real careful on this one.
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather hear the milling word.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Learning.
Tim did make it very clear that, you know, the board wants to make sure that we do the right thing. So let's have a clear understanding of what we get for what is going to be spent. And if we decide to do something above what the grant or the amount that the state is going to provide calls for, what is that going to cost? In other words, if we want to do something, add something onto that project, what is it going to cost the taxpayers at that point in time?
You're dancing around that.
Nice.
You're,
Well,
you're nicely dancing around that. And it's like, because you've used the word, if we go over the 3.2 million, then we could figure out what, and it's like, no, we're not going over the
Yep, well.
3.2 million. It's simple as that. So
we tried to
Okay.
make that clear. So,
okay. I heard it
Hmm.
between the
My
lines.
position currently.
We're seasoned here, okay?
I'm
All
not
of
gonna
us.
go into my
Yes.
position. Salmon Run update, is that you or Shane?
No, thank you. Salmon Run, and I'm glad the chief's here too, because the chief's attorney was the one that kind of alerted us to, there was an accident at Salmon Run. You're all aware of it. There was some property damage done, and there was a safe harbors cleanup that had to be done as a result of the accident. Long story short, we spent a past town administrator tried to get monies from this person. And my understanding is, without having to go into non-public and discuss, is there are pending criminal charges as a result of that incident that we possibly could ask for restitution to the town in the amount of 3756, I think, is what the town of Tilton paid out for the cleanup using safe harbors. So Tim and I had a discussion with Jody. No, I'm sorry, the prosecutor chief.
So, Jeremy.
Jeremy. So I had the J right. Jeremy, through email, I shouldn't say a discussion. We emailed back and forth, and Jeremy was very gracious and said that he would put that in as part of the requirement. Understanding that, because of my background, and I'm sure the chief would agree with me, that, you know, it may be a long-term recovery, but I think it's more important to get the message that, you know what, because of somebody's irresponsibility, our taxpayers shouldn't be picking up the cost. So,
Nice.
I agree. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody online that would like to have any questions or concerns to the board?
Anything on the municipal lot survey?
I want to see if anybody.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead, John.
Anything on the municipal lot survey or?
Oh, s- I can answer that.
Good.
Okay. There's, some people call him Chip, I call him Dave Krause. Has been out and done a couple of the lines. We're now researching some of the deeds because they're a little bit in the gray area, particularly the line in between the Sano. So the lot. Sandy was in here yesterday and spent a good hour, an hour and a half researching and found a couple of things that were very interesting in the 1800s. So deeding is very important to Dave right now in what they say and how they say it. And ownership is very important to him. And so what I had in the files sent over to him early on, that was a couple weeks ago. And so he's working on it. It's just a matter of a deeding issue right now in numbers.
He is very thorough.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I use them.
Okay.
Yep, that's,
Anybody in the public? Questions? Concerns? Okay. All right. Then at this time, I will make a motion to go into non-public per RSA 91A:3, A and B, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such employee, investigation of any charges against him or her unless the employee affected has the right to a meeting, and the investigation, and request that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted, and B, hiring of any person as a public employee.
Jessamine, second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Scanlon, yes.
Eric Adams, yes.
Jessamine, yes.
Dawson, yes.
Constantino, yes. Okay. Thanks, Greg. Have a good week. See you next week.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't take the hinges off because I got a self-closer on it. It doesn't fit.
Okay, I would
Go
like
talk
to
to
seal the minutes of the non-public, make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public of September 5th, 2024, because the reasons justify the need for the non-public still remain permanently.
Jessamine, second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Is there any more business to come before us in a public meeting?
I have this one thing.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
okay. Second,
It's not debatable. A motion to adjourn. is
all those
not
in favor?
debatable. Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
I gotta look at that.
right.
It can be voted as no, too.
You could have voted no. I'm still halfway.
But you
there.
need three.
Good night, Pat.
Don't forget to take some veggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Outstanding.
This
There.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't take the hinges off because I got a self-closer on it. It doesn't fit.
Okay, I would
Go
like
talk
to
to
seal the minutes of the non-public, make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public of September 5th, 2024, because the reasons justify the need for the non-public still remain permanently.
Jessamine, second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Is there any more business to come before us in a public meeting?
I have this one thing.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
okay. Second, oh,
It's not debatable. A motion to adjourn. is
all those
not
in favor?
debatable. Aye.
Aye,
I gotta look that.
right.
It can be voted as no, too.
You could have voted no. I'm still halfway.
But you need 3.
Good night, Pat.
Don't forget to take some veggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Outstanding.